fishing forecast for Thursday, July 23rd. First thing I want to get out of the way is talking about helium. I saw something that kind of annoyed me the other day, and I wanted to remind you all that you don't have to believe everything that you read on Instagram to find the things that you're looking for fishing. So uh, I saw someone selling a helium setup for $500, and it just blew my mind. So here's where you need to get your helium set up. Online, you're looking for an aluminum nitrogen cylinder. It's an inert gas cylinder, same thing as helium. It's a 580. If you look for the 580, that's the type of valve that you need for inert gases, okay? A 60 cubic foot aluminum tank is going to get you filling up, depending on how big you're making your balloons, anywhere from 5 to 8 balloons. I usually probably get about 8 out of mine. So that's the tank you're looking for. Your regulator, you can easily find on Amazon for $30. And then as far as filling up your tank, if you didn't know about West Air gases, but if you mention Bloody Decks, they'll give you 10% off. This is a reliable supplier that will fill your tank. There's a lot of people in Southern California that won't because helium is hard to come by, and they kind of restrict who they sell it to. But if you didn't know, they have a ton of locations all around California. So make sure you hit them up if you're looking to refill your tank. And as Ollie mentioned before, if you mention Bloody Decks, you get 10% off. So that's pretty cool. If you need the little extension hose to coil it from your cab or wherever you have it on deck, you can buy the hose that goes in between the valve and the regulator for like $20. It's just the normal coiled up nylon hose. Not a big deal. So you're in it for a tank, a regulator, and a fill up for probably around $250, $280 maybe with tax, depending on your setup. If you need a bigger tank, you can always look for them. But like I said, the aluminum style is lightweight, easier to carry, and also won't rust with salt water. So that's why I like the aluminum one. But again, you only need this if you don't have any wind. If you have good wind conditions, I'd be flying that Boston big game kite. It's like $60, $70, something like that. That's what you want to be using. This is only for no wind situations is when you need the helium. So don't get ripped off. You can Google search this. There's other. This one shows out of stock, but there's plenty of places to find it. I didn't have any trouble getting mine. So don't hand your wallet to somebody for them to light it on fire. End of my rant. AB 3030, if you didn't know, it's still being talked about. We're trying to defeat this bill that's been proposed by California to regulate our fishing. It clearly doesn't need any more regulation. We've done our part with the MLPA zones and all the other DFG laws that are. So if you haven't already, check out CCA California, and they'll get you set up where you can read the entire bill and submit a message to your senator to oppose it, and help us out with that. All right, let's talk the weather. Oops, I just cleared that. Anyways, the weather is pretty steady then most of the week. If you haven't been noticing, we've been having this continuous June gloom of overcast skies, and here's a good look at what's been going on. A lot of this every single day, and the reason why is you have these north winds that are driving down, pushing this moisture onshore. And for those of you that have been to the beach in the last week, you probably noticed that the water temps at the beach have dropped. They're all the way down to 60 degrees. And the reason for this is the Coriolis effect. You have north winds, which basically turn and go a lot more east, which creates upwelling, and that drives the water temps down. So unfortunately, that's what's been going on. And we'll get a little look at the wind chart here so you can see what's happening, but pretty steady flow for the next 7 days. So you see some more of that eddy flow. And unfortunately, this isn't really helping the water temps, not warming them up, at least so to speak. But it's been pretty steady for the most part. Nothing too nautical going on, but if you're going to be on the backside of San Clemente Island, I would expect to be running into that wind swell. Currently, it's not showing anything too crazy, except for maybe Monday. It might ramp up some, but always make sure you check your local conditions on your marine forecast before heading out to make sure you don't run into something that you weren't looking for. So you can see the wind's pretty steady. Monday is kind of where it ramps up here, a little bit in the afternoon over the evening. But basically the inside waters remain pretty calm, but you're going to have this eddy wind chop, that 2 to 3 foot, pretty much the next 7 days. That's not going away. And neither will this overcast sky. Seems like it's going to be a lot of morning overcast. Even today, it never really burned off. So we'll see what happens. And then next week, I mean, these is way too far out to tell. But you can see that we were talking about that forecast last week with that hurricane, and see what popped up here. Let's look at Saturday, aiming right for Hawaii. But this thing is floated across the chart, and we'll see what happens. But something in the tropics is happening at least. Unfortunately, it's not driving north and knocking down our wind here, unfortunately. Temp charts. These are going to be extremely unreliable due to our current overcast weather. This is the 8 day, I'm sorry. The 3 day doesn't look anything near correct. When you have these holes in it, it looks kind of blocky. You don't have a real reliable chart. Even the 1 day, actually a little better than 20 minutes ago. I'd say that this one has a chance, at least for these areas, as somewhat reflecting. Chlorophyll, good luck. Not going to get a real look there at what you're looking for. So let's talk fishing. Near shore, the bass bite slowed way down the last couple of days. Inshore fishing, due to that upwelling that we were talking about, it's going to try and come back to life, but it'll probably be a slow process based on the wind forecast that we have coming up. So I wouldn't get your hopes up for that turning back on right away. Catalina, still, yellowtail fishing has been extremely slow. 1 out of 10 scale. It's definitely a 1. I will tell you my favorite spots I've actually picked up a little bit, and that's where they're finding them. The East End, definitely current heavy area where you're going to find yellowtail. And the Farnsworth lately, which is my favorite spot to fish on the island when it's really working. The fish around the structure, you got to hook them. I'd be fishing the yo-yo for sure. And once you hook them, you can't let them run. You gotta turn their head. Don't let them get into that structure, or they will break you off, and you will be losing your jig. But that is definitely one of my favorite spots to fish when it's working on the backside of Catalina. As far as squid goes, nothing from the carnage lately that I'm aware of. There's some squid in the middle backside at the usual areas, 90 to 100 feet of water lately. That's where to be looking. San Clemente Island, man, it's been hit and miss. I know Markland's been fishing this area a whole lot this week, and he's been staring at fish on the sonar that don't want to bite. Today was one of those days. But there is still fish in Pyramid Cove. They're a nice grade, 12 to 25 pounds. They've been biting fresh dead squid and live squid on the dropper loop, so that has been working. Front side, middle front has been working well. Sardines, yellowtail has been working the best. Where else are we going to talk about? Let's talk about Coronado. Cornell Islands have been off the radar for a couple weeks because the fishing has slowed down quite a bit. I did get a report from a friend that fished there a couple days ago, and the middle area was working really, really well. He went 3 for 3, so they are there if you want to work for them. But usual things, current and conditions dictate everything. So please keep that in mind. Offshore, there has really been no offshore action north of the border. A week ago, we had a little bit of this 182 9-mile bank sections where you get some fish pop up for a little bit and then peace out. But they really have not been working on that side of the border. So be prepared to be fishing in Mexico waters. There has been some tuna primarily being caught between the San Salvador Knoll and the corner. This area here has been the most productive for fishing. Unfortunately, this chart doesn't really tell you why, but these have been the areas where pretty much everyone's been fishing. And these aren't going to be the giant fish. You know, you're going to be looking mainly at the school grade fish. I mean, there is some bigger ones here and there, but for the most part, this is where your quantity of fish is being caught, both bluefin and yellowfin. And I would still be checking the patties for some yellowtail as well. They seem to still be popping up. For those of you that are looking for the jumbos, south of Clemente Island, 81 area has been working, not quite wild lately. Unfortunately, the guys that have been fishing this area are having some trouble with the flying fish, and there's been an abundance of little blue sharks, like a foot to 2 feet long, that have been chomping down on the flyers, and you know, did not last very long. So they're getting pretty annoyed with fishing those and having them get chomped up. Some tactics that are working for bluefin in general, smaller grade. Sometimes these fish are getting stuck on the bait that's popping up. So I'd recommend fishing jigs a lot. Particularly, my favorites are in the 80 gram size and in the 100 gram size, as long as the wind is manageable. If it gets really windy, you might have to ramp it up. But the 80 gram Colt Sniper and flat fall, particularly the sardine color and the Katy Perry color, which is the blue and pink, are my favorite go-tos. And the reason why you want to fish the smaller ones and not necessarily the big ones is the big ones fall a lot faster in the water column. I think the small ones tend to flutter a lot more, and it gives the fish a little bit more chance to see it from below and come right up to it. Where the big ones, it seems like they fall really fast, and the fish don't always get queued up on them. But yeah, that's how I would be trying on these fish, especially if they're foaming up. I'd be throwing jigs out. They're probably not going to be too interested in a bait. However, if there's no fish on top, sinker rig this year has been predominantly the most effective tool for hooking these fish. You know, whether it's a mackerel or a big sardine, tie on a nice torpedo weight, you know, 15, 20 feet up your line, above your leader, and drop that thing down to the zone that you're marking fish in. That's been the most productive way so far. So as far as weather go, marine conditions go, you know, this is the current chart. You know, like I said, there's this west swell, 2 feet at 5 seconds, and this 3 foot in the afternoon. This stuff is going to be backing you up again on Monday. We're looking at more west swell with the winds gusting up to 20. But it's pretty much status quo. So that's all I got for this week, guys. Stay safe, do your part, and we'll see you out there on the water soon. Take care.